Okay, ladies, so welcome to Empower Leads team call for November 7th. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot believe it's November already. It's like Thanksgiving so soon, and then it's Christmas, and then it's a new year. This year has flown by. Okay, so before we dive in, I just wanted to quickly touch on a couple things, and I know there might be some recognition in the team as well. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody is in the one coach, one lesson training. Are you in it? Raise your hand if you are. Yes. Have you had a chance to watch anything in there yet? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That is going to be super helpful, super powerful. You know, the goal is to really get your energy up and your mindset in the right place so that you can crush whatever it is that you want to crush in this business. It's less of like a hands-on thing and more of a mindset training, if you will. So super excited to see what happens with that. And just an update on our push to purpose training is going to start right to follow that on Monday the 20th, so that you know. The next thing is that November to Remember registration is still open. If you don't have a partner, make sure you grab one and register for that. You know, these are great ways to work with other coaches to share tips, you know, help each other stay accountable to doing your basics, to helping as many people as you can, and just really rallying together. So opportunities like that are always great to seize and work with somebody else. End of year goals. If you have end of year goals to hit a new rank or to achieve something bigger than what you've done before, make sure you know when you need to achieve those goals by and what you're pushing for and how you want to start the new year, because it is important. You know, this time of year, most people get quiet about fitness and nutrition and getting better, right? And we have to be the ones to rise above that and be really loud about health and fitness and nutrition and betterment and, you know, going into a new year in a better place than we are now for two reasons. Number one, there's a lot of people that are still looking to make changes right now. But more importantly is that everybody you are talking to and chatting with and that's watching you on social media come the new year, when they're ready to make a change and commit, you want them to know that you are someone that they can come to trust for help, to get them started, to get them moving in the right direction. So, you know, don't sit back right now. This is the time to push the gas, and really push into the new year, not just coast into the new year. The next thing is if it's a goal of yours to get to our leadership retreat, make sure you know the qualifications for that as well. I'm not going to go over them because you can go look at the picture in the team page, but super important. I want you to be there. I don't want you to miss it if it's something that's on your heart to do with us, but make sure you're aware of the qualifications. And the last thing is that I've been really thinking a lot about and in talking to a lot of coaches on the team that people just feel kind of disconnected, or your belief isn't where it normally is, or your motivation has shifted a little bit. And I've been kind of racking my brain with everything we learned at leadership and just in my own experience the past couple years. And I know wholeheartedly that one of the biggest things to getting your motivation and your mojo and your momentum and, you know, really feeling that purpose and that inspiration is being committed all into your journey. Because when you do something from start to finish, you can't help but feel that energy and that confidence and that desire to share. And you just want to shout from the friggin' rooftops and tell everybody about what you're doing, right? Can you all relate to that? And when you're not on track and you're not feeling motivated and you're slacking off and you're not seeing results and your energy is lower, that affects your business greatly. So I came up with the idea to do a Just Coaches challenge group just for all the coaches on our team, so we can all make a commitment to ourselves, to each other, to the people you know, we're coaching and leading by example for, and just go all in on something together and really support each other and rally each other and help each other kind of overcome our excuses so that we can really be in the best motivated place with that belief solidified in what we do and that it matters and that we're eager to pour into others. So I will be updating you on that soon as I set the group up, but I just wanted to make sure you're aware if you didn't see the post in the team page about it. And does anybody have recognition before we dive into sharing things from leadership? Laura?
I do. Um, I feel like I have a lot. So, I haven't officially welcomed Amber to our team, but Amber is my newest coach. Um,
Welcome.
yeah, so welcome. We're so happy to have you. Um, and then I wanted to shout out Kelly Riley and Kelly Spencer this past month both hit SC All Star. So,
Woo
for
woo.
whatever reason, I don't know what that means. They both have hit SC for every month for the previous year. So it's amazing, amazing accomplishment. I'm super proud of them. They're both really diligent and they're not perfect, you guys. I think Kelly Riley will be the first to tell you that, but um, they're consistent. And like, even when they have days where they do nothing, then they have days where they make up for it. So I really think we say this in the beginning, but hitting SC is like the building block for your business, the blocks that will help you build a team. So, if you want to build a team, if you want to help people every month, it's a really good goal to have. Then I need to shout out Stormy Heine over here because she earned her ticket to Summit this past month. So she has I know Stormy Heine, right? And Stormy Heine, Annalisa, is a endoscopy nurse, which means she's, putting tubes in the hiney and the mouth daily. So she's amazing. If you follow her on Facebook, there, like, she lives on like a farm basically, and they call it the hiney hole. It's like so fucking awesome. I love it. But anyway, Stormy worked really hard. And she met her goals, and we're like, if nothing else, we're going to meet at Summit, which is amazing. I'm still holding on to some hope that she's going to get to our diamond retreat, but that's one of her goals as well. But either way, we'll see her at Summit. So I'm super, super pumped. Yay. I think that's all.
Congratulations, ladies. Huge, huge goals. If you guys don't know, I just want to recap Success Starters. Laura, do you want to recap on that since you mentioned it?
Sure. So Success Starters is the program where it's when you sign up as a coach. So if you signed up initially as a coach and you didn't start working your first month, it's your first full month as a coach. If you hit SC5 or above the first 3 months you're working as a coach, they give you a gift of your first Summit ticket for free. So whereas we all pay a couple $100s for our tickets to Summit, Stormy's getting hers for free this year. So that's the deal. And then you earn like a couple calls with some of the people in corporate, and they just kind of thank you for being aggressive right out of the gates.
Yes, huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge to start your business off that way. Absolutely awesome. Congratulations, ladies. Okay, so as you guys know,
wait.
Oh,
I have an announcement.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to shout out to Kayla, who regained her emerald this week and is finally like moved in and settling, and she's like ready to kick ass again. So like, I'm super pumped for her. So congratulations, Kayla.
Awesome.
Hey, Ashley, do you live in Colorado now?
Yeah.
Okay, put on your books. I'm on the Denver Market Council, so make sure you come to the next Super Saturday and hang out with me.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can get some VIP experience, hang out with whoever we have there.
Awesome.
Laura.
What? It's true. She can. No, I'm like, but if Tammy went with me last time and she got to hang out with Joel, and
True.
just saying, it is a VIP experience. We actually did a VIP experience though at our Super Saturday. It's what I'm referring to. You could pay more for a VIP ticket.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Except she wouldn't have to, right?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know people.
Yeah.
It's always good to have an in.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to recognize or shout out? No. Okay. All right. So as you guys know, Laura and I just got back from leadership in Las Vegas, which is one of the most exclusive events of the year, and it's honestly my favorite event of the year, just because of the leadership training that you get and the people you get to network with and all that you learn and observe and soak up that you can bring back to your team. So we wanted to come on here tonight and share some of the inspiration and the fire and the lessons that we felt were so powerful. And we could probably talk about this for 3 hours. But if you actually do want to go watch recaps of the videos, I did post the link of all of the recordings in our team page yesterday. You could set a goal to watch 1, or 2 a week until you get through them all, but they're absolutely awesome. But we're going to share our top takeaways because we just wanted to break it down to some simple things that maybe you can take or you can apply in your business to really help you move forward with things. So Laura's going to go ahead and talk first.
All right, guys. So it was really, really hard. I was messaging Dana earlier and I'm like, I can't decide. Should I talk about this or this or this or this or this? Because it's like, it's the one thing, I mean, it's similar to those of you who have been to Summit where you just like feel really kind of like almost overstimulated with information because it's just all these ideas start racing through your heads and you're like, this is the way I could do better in my business this way. I could be a better leader this way. I could coach my coaches better this way. Excuse me. But I'm just going to share with you like a couple short takeaways. And my first one was, sorry, I'm looking for it in my notes right now. My daughter wrote with it. Okay. This was when, who was talking here? I think this was in Mel Robbins' talk, which was like phenomenal. That was the elite seminar that Dana earned. So I got to go with her. I actually don't think I was supposed to go with her, but I did anyway. I pretended I was meant to be there. Thank goodness. But one of the things she was talking about is what you're missing by being afraid in life. And then she referred to a quote of Rosa Parks about when she was the one that, had a really long day at work, went grocery shopping, and then sat where she was supposed to sit on the bus, but there were too many people on the bus, so they wanted, some of the Black people to get up for the white people. And she was like, no, I'm sure you guys know this story. Anyway, later, like a week later when she was on the bus, or not when she was on the bus, but a week later she was interviewed or however later. And she said, I never thought that I'd be the one to do such a thing. And it was super impactful to me because I feel like some of us like have zero comprehension of the power that's within us. And like, the way that I grew up and the way that I was, filled with shame and just like no belief in myself. I never thought I was good enough. I never thought that I would be the one to do such a thing like coaching. And so I feel like that just like hit me really hard. And then after that, she, like you are the one, each of you is the one. So to stop being afraid and know that you're one decision away from a different life. I just thought it was like really, really powerful. That was at the end of her speech and like left me with chills all over. So that was one thing that I like took away, that I like things like that, like keep me awake at night when I'm like, God, like I look at some of these coaches, you guys, that we were, sorry, I'm trying to get back to that we were surrounded by. Hold on. Why'd you say she can sleep in?
Already got like 3 inches. It's dumping out today.
Okay.
Pounding
School's probably going to be canceled or delayed tomorrow. It's dumping snow here. So we were surrounded by all these top coaches, and legitimately, you guys, they're no different than we are. Like, it's so funny because I mean, Dana and I were talking about this, but they'll walk by and I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, that's so-and-so. And it's like, I get super like celebrity happy, but you guys, they're not celebrities. Like outside of Beachbody, they're regular people that walk the street and they work harder than we do. And that's how they got to where they're going. They harness their gifts. That was from one of the other speakers, but like harness your gifts that you have and share those with the world and try to do it consistently. Like you're only one step away from a different life. Like if I could just stick to my power hours, if I could just invite 5 people every day, if I could just make sure I'm adding new friends to my network. And that kind of segues me into one of my other parts that was super, super impactful for me. You guys probably all know who Micah Folsom is, but she's one of the top coaches in the company, has been for a long time. She's super like chill and down to earth and really friendly. And she spoke. And one of the things they talk about, excuse me, on their team, I'm just getting to my notes again. Sorry, guys. I have like so many pages of notes, but is how to recreate momentum in your business. Because I know a lot of you, I've heard this complaint from a lot of people, are feeling just kind of like a lull. This is like a really common time of year to feel a lull in your business. And like Dana said, a lot of people are like, but the holidays are coming. I can't get wet, like healthy with the holidays. And like, you guys, the holidays are like 3 days. It's so ridiculous that we like convince ourselves that instead of like getting healthy and at least maintaining through the holidays, we're going to instead go and gain 10 pounds. Like, we're going to give ourselves permission to go do whatever we want. So anyway, I feel your pain. I'm getting the same resistance from people, but she refers also in this speech that she was giving to Dana, help me out because I'm forgetting his name right now, but he's like one of my favorite PD. I think it was one of the first things I either ordered or maybe Dana sent to me. It was a CD, and you can't control the
Jim Rohn.
Yeah, Jim Rohn. You can't control the winds, but you can adjust the sails. So if what you're doing right now isn't working, adjust the sails and go back to basics. Go back to the things that you know build your business, which is conversations, making friendships, reaching out to people. But the other thing you have to do is work on yourself, work on your personal self and what you're putting out into the universe. And they call it, like, they did a hashtag in their team page called #DoYourCrap. And your crap refers to all the stuff that like you basically forget about or don't want to do anymore because you are, you know, like, I want to watch a Netflix series tonight or whatever it may be, or it's cold and snowing and I want to sit by the fire and drink hot tea, whatever. But you have to get your mind set around a place of belief. If you're not in a place of belief and confidence with your vision, the vision of the company, with what you're doing with your life, that's what you're going to be putting out, and you're not going to get anybody. You're not going to attract people if your vision isn't clear in your head, if you don't have belief in what you're doing. So your energy is contagious. Your beliefs are contagious. So start showing up every day and sharing your journey. Start, like Dana said, let's commit to a workout program. Let's make it happen.
Mommy, what are you doing?
I'm talking on a call.
Oh.
Yeah. And sorry, that just distracted me, guys. Intentionally expand your network, make new friends, find new people to request, like, go into your groups and make conversation on there and friend request the people you're making conversation with. Promote what you're doing by sharing it and showing it. And I felt like it was something I need to hear a lot. Just like, if I'm complaining about whatever the momentum of my business, like, Dana needs to say to me, are you doing your crap? Because you're probably not doing your crap, Laura. And like, I've had times where I'll be like, Dana, can you text me every day at 5? And I'm going to text you a picture of like the people I've connected with, because I thrive on accountability. I like it. It's why I first joined a challenge group, you know? So if you need that from your upline, message them, message me if I'm your upline. And then, provide great experiences for those challengers. Do the challenges with them and provide a great experience. So basically just back to basics and just keep pedaling, and your business will go. It's going to, like any entrepreneurial business, it's going to have peaks and flows, ebbs and flows, and you just have to keep going. So that's kind of like 2 of my main takeaways. Like Dana said, she posted all the videos. They were really impactful. Sorry. Oh, I know something else I really wanted to talk about, Dana. One more thing. Sorry. But another thing she was talking about within your team is
Hi. Oh, hi.
is to try to make everyone feel relevant. You know, like if you have, one of the coaches talked about having like walker, jogger, and runner coaches and developing plans for each of those. Hey, Daddy's calling to you. And, you know, if you have a walker coach, shout out when one of those coaches first gets like earns $100 in a month. Like if you're a runner coach, that might not seem like a lot of money, but if you're a walker coach, that's paying for your Shakeology. You know, that's like a really big reason to celebrate. So to make sure that and this is, you know, if you're a newer coach, this is going more towards me and some of the other leaders on the team, but like we need to find a way to make everyone feel relevant and everyone feel important. So yeah, that's my stuff.
I want to elaborate on that last piece you mentioned, because I think that it's something good to learn, whether you're a leader or whether you don't even have coaches that you're leading yet, because you will, you know, deal with that at some point in time. But with what she said is, you know, sometimes people will get overwhelmed with the basics or certain numbers, or like you're looking around you and you're trying to keep up with other people that have different goals than you do. Or, you know, you're looking at somebody that's pushing to be part-time when you're only pushing to be part-time, right? And really setting goals for your daily basics and your vitals that honor and serve you. And if that only means, you know, 3 friend requests a day and 3 invites a day and posting once a day on social media, that's better than doing nothing and just saying that you're overwhelmed and stepping back entirely. And I think that there is going to be times in your business or in your personal life when shit is hard, and it's better to do something small than to do nothing at all. Because when you do nothing at all, then your belief and your motivation takes a hit as well, right? But I think that it's important to be mindful for ourselves, but also for where our coaches are at, to help them do, you know, the basics in a way that they can keep showing up and keep feeling good about that, and having those small wins every day, whether that's, you know, a small amount or a big amount, just depending on the person and where they're at and what they need. So I thought that was a really great way to put it. She called it like walker, jogger, runner. And if you guys are interested, I can pull she shared the actual trackers with us in the roundtable. If you guys would like to see those, I can share them.
I have them and I'm making them for my team too. I like worked on 2 of them today.
Yeah. Okay, so where do I start? So many things I could talk about, and I am just like, I don't know if you guys ever get like this, but your brain is like so overwhelmed and so excited with information that you almost like shut down because you're like, yeah, I just need to process it because I don't even know where to start. That's how I've felt. And I'm sure jet lag doesn't help. But the first thing I want to talk about, and I mentioned this in the team page yesterday, and if you didn't see my post that I made about, you know, I asked everybody to share why you are a coach. Like, what are you a coach for? And I think that's really important to know, because if that doesn't come to you naturally, then that's something, you know, that you can work on, really connecting with that idea of why you are a coach and why you're passionate about why we do what we do. So I would highly recommend that you go back and see that if you missed it. But I mentioned that Carl did this talk about Navy SEALs, and how about as Navy SEALs, they have this test, you know, where they require the SEALs to go down into the freezing cold waters of the ocean, and they have a test to tie 5 knots underneath the water, and they can't come up until they're done. And that, you know, there was all these SEALs going through this process, and then there was this one guy, and at some point in time when he was down under the water tying the knots, Laura, you might be able to clarify because it's kind of like blurry, my memory of this, but he talks about how the guy literally like passes out under the water, and that he comes up and he's like struggling to breathe, and he's, you know, sucked in water into his lungs. And the first thing he says when he opens his eyes is, did I pass the test? He didn't care that he, you know, had almost drowned under the water. And his trainer said to him, you passed it because I wanted to see how far you'd push to your limits without quitting. And I think that that's a really powerful concept when you think about what we do as coaches, is it's not always about the end goal or the end outcome, but it's about you showing up and giving it your all and fighting for it. And then our CEO walked into the audience and he asked Julie Voris to stand up, which if you don't know her, she's an extremely incredible leader. And he asked her to stand up from her seat, and he walked over and he shoved her on the chest. And I was like, oh God, what is he doing? And she fell back into her chair, and she just kind of looked like a deer in headlights. Like, what is he doing? And he said, when you stand alone, you're not, you're not as powerful as you're capable of being, right? And then he asked her entire row to stand up, and he asked them to link arms together. So there's about 10 women in a row. They link elbows and they stand together, and he goes by and he pushes each one of them, and none of them fall back. They kind of jolt back a little bit, but they don't fall back into their seats, right? And we can think about this as coaches, as a team. When we work together and we lean together and we lean on each other, we are so much stronger than we are when we are trying to do this alone, and we are struggling, and we're struggling with doubt or motivation or showing up or consistency or needing accountability. Like Laura said, if you need it, reach out and ask for it. Nobody can help you if you're struggling and you don't share about it, or if you don't lean into the team. That's why we're in this together, right? And it was just the whole sentiment of, when you stand together, you become unbreakable and unstoppable. And then what he did with the end of that, which literally I just think had us all in, close to tears, was that he spoke about the importance of the mission of what we do as coaches, and having that big vision mindset that this is not just about Success Club points, guys. It is not just about ranks. It is not about these shiny things that we tend to kind of fixate on sometimes, but it is about something so much bigger and so much greater. And he had all of us come together in the middle of the room in our rows and link arms in the entire room, and just reminded us that we are all in this together. Like, yes, you are running your own business and doing your own thing and making your own impact, but we are all united in a common mission, and we have to stand together in that, whether it's hard or it's going great, or we hit lows or we hit highs, or things are shifting and changing and we're having to adapt and become more innovative with the way that we're doing things, or changing the way that we're showing up as coaches and doing vitals, because those change over time as everything shifts, right? And sitting back and waiting and wishing for things to happen doesn't work. It only happens if we show up and we learn together. So that was super, super impactful. The next thing that I wanted to mention, and I can't remember his name now. Laura, do you remember the guy that talked about good stewardship? I don't feel like it.
Yeah, it's Jennings.
Jason Jennings.
Yeah.
Jason Jennings. But he talked about being a good steward, and he wasn't talking about this necessarily like just in pertinence to coaching, but just about who you are in this world. And he said, and I highlighted this because I thought it was so powerful, but he said, the biggest question you will ever ask yourself in life is, will my life be more about me, or will it be more about others? And your life will become a mirror of whatever choice it is that you choose to make. So when you are showing up for what we do as coaches every day, are you thinking just about yourself and what you're going to get? Or are you thinking about serving others and what you're going to give? I loved that so, so much. And let me see. The next thing that I wanted to mention, the color wheel. I posted this in the team page today as well. It's a really simple exercise, and it's a lot more basic than doing something like an avatar, because I don't know if you guys are like me, but I have like 17 pages of things for creating an avatar of who I am and who I'm speaking to and who I used to be and all this. And like that in itself can be a little confusing, but this coach talked about your life being colorful, that we are not just walking, talking billboards of workouts and drinking shakes and eating healthy and motivational quotes. Like, we are people with stories and things to share, and colorful parts of our lives that connect us to other people. And she has this little color wheel that's blank, and I posted the blank one, and I posted an example, and I posted the one I made, but just of 7 to 10 things that make you who you are, that you can start to utilize when you are sharing on Instagram stories or sharing on social media, and just kind of look at that and say, like, am I speaking to my people? Am I speaking to, the women that are most like me, so that you can really form and found those connections, but it's basic enough that it's not overwhelming, if that makes sense. So I posted that if you missed it today. I have to say that probably my favorite of all of the speeches of the entire leadership experience was the Mel Robbins. And I would highly, highly recommend you go watch that recording. I'm probably going to watch it like once a month because it's just such a good reminder. And it was funny to me because she kept saying like, this is so stupid and it's so simple, but it will change your life. It is so stupid. It is so simple, but it will change your life. And I'm just going to read you some of my notes about this that I highlighted that I thought were the most important. And she said, you either rule your mind or your mind will rule you. Knowing isn't going to change anything. It's making yourself do what it is you need to do that's going to change things. No one thinks, that they're going to choose procrastination or doubt or things like that, right? And I thought this was really cool. The way that she worded this is that we have autopilot habits. So, so often we say like, I'm a procrastinator, I'm a worrier, I self-doubt, I overthink, I whatever. And she said, I want you to shift this and I want you to think that I have a habit of procrastination, or I have a habit of self-doubt, or I have a habit of giving up too easily, or I have a habit of insecurity. Instead of that being part of who you are, it is just a habit that you have. And I thought that was such an awesome way to think about it, because if it's just a habit and you look at it that way, then you therefore have the power to change it, right? So she says, you are not your habit. You have a habit of blank. So I don't know if you guys want to post in the comments and share something, that you have a habit of. I know for me, my whole life, I've struggled with the habit of procrastination or being disorganized. But once you realize that is a habit, then you realize that you can learn things, or you can change things, or you can change the actions that you're taking daily to change that habit. And she basically explained that, once you're challenging this habit that you have over and over and over, that it will become ingrained in your brain, that it's like an autopilot habit, right? So she explained, like, you get in a car, you get in the driver's seat, you're driving to your child's school, and you basically go on autopilot because you drive the same way, hit the same red lights every single day, and you don't even think about it. And that's exactly what we do with a lot of the habitual habits and choices we have. And if we're aware of what that is and we're wanting to change those habits, then we can kind of trick our brains into making something else become that habitual autopilot habit. And I thought that was awesome, because does that not give you hope that it's like whatever it is that you struggle with or think that you are, that you have the power to change that, right? If you work at it long enough, it's not going to happen in a day. I don't even think it happens in 30 days. But if you work at it consistently enough, it can become something so different. And we're proof of that in terms of health and fitness and personal growth and that kind of stuff, because I can guarantee that none of us had habits like that before consistently, right? So she said, self-doubt doesn't serve you and it's a habit. And now she talks about the 5-second rule being, when you count from 1 to 5, that's just like autopilot from your brain, because that's what you're taught from the time you're a little kid, right? But if you count backwards from, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is literally using the prefrontal cortex of your brain, where it challenges your brain to make a different decision. So she's like, I want you to think about all the habits that you have on a daily basis and using this tactic, whether it's you hit the snooze button and count back from 5, whether it's you don't feel like doing your workout and you're about to sit there and scroll on social media and procrastinate it for 30 minutes, count backwards from 5 and just go do it and take action. And slowly, she's like, again, she said that's so stupid simple, but it will absolutely change your life. And then I absolutely love this. She said, you have to have the ability to monitor yourself and direct your thoughts and know when you need to pivot. So having an awareness of when things are going in the wrong direction, or the momentum is going in the wrong way, or you're starting to think in a way that doesn't serve you, and being aware enough to say, I need to choose differently. I need to make a pivot so that I don't end up continuing to spiral in this direction. And then she said, no matter how hard things get in your life, and I don't remember exactly what she was talking about, someone's really tough life story, but she said, no matter how hard things get in your life, you have to remember that you always have inner wisdom, that somewhere deep inside you, you always know exactly what it is that you need. It's just about having the courage to do what it is that you know that you need, right? And when you're about to shrink, you have to gain some courage. And the most important question you will ask yourself is, will you change? Will you change? Because she kept saying, you know, I can teach you this, I can share this with you, but if you decide to do nothing with it, then it helps you in no way, right? So are you willing to have the courage to change? And then this is the last part that I really, really loved about this. And I think that this might resonate for a lot of people, but she said that basically, if you think about a situation where you're extremely nervous in your life, or you think about a situation where you're extremely fearful, and then you think about the same instance, a scenario where you're very excited. And she talked about going to a YouTube U2 concert, and how she was like sweating and she was all excited and her body was jittery and she was fired up about watching something, and that was her excitement feel, right? And then she talked about some speech she gave or something where she felt terrified and she felt nervous. And she said, your brain doesn't know the difference between excitement or fear. It is literally the same, feeling and energy that's pumping through your body, whether you're in a situation of fear and anxiety or a situation of excitement. So the way that you need to train your brain is like you need to give what's that?
Wait, let me look at my notes. I feel like you're explaining it off. Hold on. Keep explaining how you're explaining it, and I'll look at it.
She says, when your body is agitated like this, you need to say, I am excited about blank. So like, if you're like, I'm scared to send this invite right now. I'm scared to post this thing about coaching on social media. I'm scared to share this transformation. I'm scared to go do whatever it is, XYZ. I'm scared to go live right now. I'm scared to share my truth with people. If you can retrain your brain by saying, I am excited about inviting, I am excited about going live, I am excited about telling somebody this, I'm excited about whatever, that you can literally trick your brain into thinking you are excited versus being fearful or worried. Is that, Laura? I mean, I have it written down.
Yeah, I was thinking, so what I had written down was that your body doesn't know the difference between excitement and nerves. Your brain does. So it's the idea that you trick your brain, like it's power over your mind. Like your mind is saying, I'm worried, but you're like, no, actually you're just wicked excited. You're super excited about this. And like changing, like when your thoughts drift, that's the moment you can catch it. And then you have the power to like rule your mind. It's like a huge moment of power when you're like talking about something that's making you anxious or whatever, for you to acknowledge that and then turn your mind into a different direction, because you may have like the heart palpitations and the sweating and whatever for both scenarios. So if you can just trick your mind into thinking it's for excitement, then you can actually like get yourself excited about it, instead of like, where you can get your pit in the stomach about being excited for something and about being nervous. Does that make sense? Am I on the same page? I feel like I am. Okay.
It's your body or your brain, whatever. Either way.
Whatever. No, I know. I don't know why I was thinking it was like so different. But like talking about being like, I'm excited to present the coaching opportunity. I'm excited to do my power hour. I'm excited to talk about money with my husband. Like things that bring me to an anxious place, like taking power over that and like convincing myself that it's not anxiety.
Right.
And she talked about in those moments also using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 moment, because you're using this back part of your brain when you're feeling anxious. And if you can interrupt that, when you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it like changes the focus to here, and you've interrupted that thought pattern, and then you can like focus it where you want to focus it.
And she literally, with that explanation, like showed a graphic of like how your brain like expands or shrinks depending on what the choice is you make. Like it's science. It's not just like something she
backed it up with like a ton of scientific stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said when she first started doing it, she had no idea that it was like actually a thing. And then like she mentioned it, what did she say? She mentioned it on like a TED talk or something, and then like the video went viral, and that's like how the whole like 5-second rule thing came to be, basically, because people were like, what the hell is this 5-second rule? And then people like all over the world literally like message her now that they're using it, so it's really cool.
And the last thing she mentioned about that was having an anchor thought, like having an anchor thought that you go back to when you're in, you know, that moment where you have fear or anxiety. And again, saying, I am so excited that I get to blank, and insert whatever it is that you are fearful or stressed about or getting anxiety about. So she said it's basically the sum is one decision at a time that you are retraining yourself to believe in yourself.
And one other thing she said that was, oh, sorry, Dana, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
She was, it was like really funny. She was talking about how if we like put speakers inside our head and like played them for the public, she's like, we'd all be in the asylum. She's like, if you think about the thoughts that are like going on in your head all the time, like when you do find yourself losing focus, or if you're driving a car and you start thinking about something, or if I'll be like, I have a cough, this probably, like maybe I have tuberculosis, or what if I'm dying of terminal lung cancer? Like your mind, like you sound like a freaking crazy person, and it's like real thoughts that go on in your head. And if they were being blasted out to the public, we would be like institutionalized. So learning to like rule your mind and be like, Laura, that's crazy talk. You have a freaking cough. Get over yourself. You don't have terminal lung cancer. You're not dying. You know, like rein it in, rule your mind. She was big on that.
Yeah, she said you're torturing yourself with that.
Yeah.
She was like, she's like, the worst part is that you actually believe the shit you tell yourself.
Right.
All right. So, that was, I guess, the sum of what I wanted to share about that one. Who thinks that they're going to start using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? I think it would be a cool challenge to just try it out for a week, you know, and every decision you make in a day, and just see how it really changes things for us. So, let me see.
She talked about it too, you guys. If you're like obsessive snoozers like I am, where I push the snooze button like 50 times, like set your alarm for when you're supposed to get up and it goes off, and like before you press snooze, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with the intent before you go to bed that you're going to get up, you know, and try it.
Yeah, Laura actually did this one of the days. She didn't want to get up and work out. She was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, go.
And you guys, I know it's like whatever, but I think it was the universe, because it was literally like the most impactful workout we had while we were there. It was like so intense, and so it was Chris Downing, who's like, I thought it was going to be Tony. I forgot that he was sick, and it was so good. So, oh, Sarah's asking, oh, I think we took pictures of it, didn't we?
They made a wall.
No, they
just
posted
had a
them
wall in the hallway with everybody's photos on it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I know they're posted in the leadership photos too. We can, it was a huge wall with everybody's transformation photos on it. It was really cool. And I think they used it as like a backdrop, didn't they, when they were doing those interviews with people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, for when they were interviewing people about Summit and their Summit experience and why coaches should get there.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to like go into this speech, but this was just like two things that this girl, Stephanie Richardson and Amber Bailey, when they were speaking, talked about. And she said, I got to a point where I no longer just wanted to think about the God-given potential that I had, but I wanted to start doing it and start living it. And I think that that's just so huge, because there's a difference in between wanting to do things and knowing that you're capable of more, and actually being like, fuck yeah, let's rally and go do it, right? Very different. And then something that just spoke to me so much that she said, and I think that, you know, she highlights it about moms, but I think that it's just in general when you think about people that you help as a coach. And she said, when you change a mom, you change a family. And that just like literally made me want to cry, because I think about where I was when I started this journey and how me changing has impacted my son and my family and my friends, you know, and and everybody else that I've come into contact and helped over the past couple years. But like, think about, when you're helping people and you're signing up somebody to start a journey, like you have the ability to influence so many other people, but beyond what you could ever measure, just by helping that person transform and empower themselves, because it ripples on to everybody in their lives. And I loved that sentiment. And if you're a mom, you'll probably love it too. And then let me see. Someone else said, I get to write this story. I think it was Moira Kokoba, but that was just like, I love that line as well, that you're the one that creates your story that you're living right now. And then Josh, I can't even remember his last name, but he's a very successful male coach in the company. And he talked about failure and like hitting a place in your business where you've totally tanked, or you've lost momentum, or you feel like you failed, or you screwed up and you don't know where to start again, you don't know how to bounce back, or you've been inconsistent, or you've missed the goals, or you've had setbacks, or you've had life shit happen, and said, I want to give you 4 steps for how to pull yourself out of something like that. And it's simple, but it's doable, and it works, because typically, I know Kelly and I have talked about this a million times, is that when you hit like a funk or a weird space, that taking action is really the only thing that's going to pull you out of that. Because if you sit there, you just, you kind of wallow and you wonder and you worry and you overthink, but taking action always makes you feel better, whether it's something small or something big, whether it's just taking care of you or whether it's pouring into your business, right? So he talks about, these 4 steps. And he says, so number 1 is to step back, to accept it, or accept where you're at, or accept what has happened. And then to embrace this as part of the process, embrace it as part of, the journey to success, the journey to becoming something better, the journey of your life and your story. So step back, accept it, embrace it as part of the process. The number 2 thing is, write down why you feel you failed, or why you feel you're struggling, or why you feel your motivation or your belief has shifted. And then ask yourself how you would rather feel. Like, how would you rather feel instead of how you feel right now in this moment? And then create a plan or an idea of how you can get beyond this struggle or this stuck place. And then take action is number 4. And I think that that's a great little exercise to kind of have in your toolbox, because we all hit periods where we're struggling with motivation, or you're feeling comfortable, or you've failed, or you've missed goals, or you're disappointed about something, whatever, even just in life in general. And I think that's an awesome, simple little exercise to have on hand. And then one thing that Carl also talked about us, like, they explained the launch of all these new things that are coming. We're going to have a tracker app for the Portion Fix, and it's like literally incredible. It is what we've been needing for so long. And there's another program coming out. I think it's called, what is it, Laura? 2B Mindset? 2B? I don't know. But it's a woman who basically is going to share about overcoming emotional eating, or binging, or falling off track, or beating yourself up, or kind of stopping that cycle of an unhealthy relationship with, food and or emotions. And just a lot of great feedback of the people that have been going through that. And I think it's going to be absolutely huge for us, because it's something so different that nobody else offers. And it is something that's so greatly needed, because I don't know if you guys can relate, but sometimes you have challengers that they'll make 2 steps forward and fall 2 steps back, or they, can't get a control on sugar cravings or whatever it is. And like, I just think it's so revolutionary to give people tools to literally transform their mindset about wellness and about their relationship with food. So, and then he was sharing about Double Time launching and getting our children involved, and how the obesity rates in childhood are at an all-time high. And, our children are basically the first generation that is expected to live a shorter life expectancy than all of the generations past, including us, because of the way that everybody is so, on iPads all the time, eating crap food, processed junk, not exercising, they're not going outside anymore, and that we have to be the ones to rise up and lead by example and share that this is not just about us being healthy, but this is impacting and influencing generations to come and really making a shift. And so Carl, he is dramatic, but it's true. And so, Carl, he asked us to think about how many coaches we have on our teams. And if every coach,
Dana.
Yeah.
Stormy was talking about her dog, not Carl.
I was like, he is crazy and he does get serious.
Carl's very passionate about Charles. But the dog is cute.
But he basically asked us to do an exercise of thinking about how many coaches we have on our teams, or just thinking about you in general, like what your normal benchmarks of are, how many people you want to help, right? And like committing to everybody helping at least 5 people this month make a difference and start on a path to wellness. And, he pulled out some crazy number that if everybody in the company helped at least 5 people and whatever, and it was like some astronomically insane number, right? And he pulled Jeff Hill out on stage and he's like, Jeff, I want to ask you, like, is this possible? And Jeff was like, well, we've never done numbers like that before. And Carl's like, I'm asking you, is it possible? And Jeff's like, I don't know. That seems really audacious, whatever. And at the end of the conversation, Carl's like, I just want you to say with me, like, it's possible. Whatever it is that you decide, that you make a commitment to, that you have the belief for, and that you're willing to show up and fight for, is what's possible. Like, you set the bar, you set the benchmark, only us as a team, or you in your own coaching business. But like, I just think that sentiment of saying, whenever you think about something that you want to do or achieve or become, and, you have all these creeping, self-doubts and beliefs and the failures replay in your head and all this, whatever you have going on in your personal life, and just stepping back and saying, it's totally possible. It's totally possible, whatever it is. And it's like so simple, but I thought it was so awesome. And the last thing that I wanted to share, and this didn't necessarily come from leadership specifically, but just in some things that I've been moving through myself with some self-doubts and things that I've been going through. And I shared a little bit about this on the live video that I did in the team page if you didn't listen to it. But also, like, being aware of how the people that you're surrounding yourself by, or the coaches that you're talking to on a daily basis, or the friends that you keep, or the conversations you're having with your family, like, are these people that are supporting you, that are believing in you, that are encouraging you? Because sometimes you're going to talk to certain people and, their doubts or their fears or their limits, or what they don't think is possible, or they think you're crazy, or they think you're audacious, or, whatever it is that those feelings or those sentiments can kind of ripple onto you sometimes, just as like we ripple onto people positively. It can be, the opposite in certain situations. And I've been struggling, with some self-doubts about certain things. And there was, some conversations that I had that made me kind of sit back and question things. And where's Annalisa? She's not even on anymore. But Annalisa reminded me of something that I really needed to hear the other night, and that might be something that you need to hear as well, is that you cannot let other people's doubts and fears and disbeliefs affect your belief and your energy and your motivation. It does not serve you. It does not serve your team. It does not serve your challengers. It does not serve anybody if you buy into, your own bullshit or somebody else's that they're putting on you, right? So just to be mindful of how we are speaking to ourselves, of how we are working to fill ourselves up with personal growth and personal development, and who we surround ourselves by, and what you're talking about and what you're thinking about, and just really leaning in, to us as a team, or people that you're working with that lift you up and help you rise up and encourage you, because that is so important. And really just thinking about the sentiment that your energy and your motivation and your momentum is something that you need to protect. Because for you to be the best in your own life and in your business and just in all of the things that you want to do in life, like you have to protect that energy rock solid. Because it's like certain boundaries let down can affect that, and it doesn't help you when you do that, right? And it's hard sometimes to do that and to shut it out or to block it out or to not entertain those things. But I just think it has to be a thought of it being bigger than yourself, and what you are doing here as a coach matters, and you have to protect that belief and that energy and that momentum. So the concept of tunnel vision. And then just one thing that I wanted to say, because Laura mentioned this at the beginning of this call, and it's something that I kind of mentioned in a post today as well. But when I went to leadership last year, I felt totally out of place. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like a fraud. I looked around at all of these leaders in the company and just thought, I am nothing like these people. I am not good enough. I don't know how the hell I got here. I'm just somebody that wanted to help other people, whatever. And I had all of this self-doubt and this fear and this worry and this comparison. And even when you're not at events, you perhaps struggle with that on a day-to-day basis, right? And something really cool that I shared with Laura while we were there is I felt very different this year. And it had nothing to do with anything rank-wise or business-wise or accomplishments. It just has to do with the fact that I literally could see all of the personal growth that I've done come into fruition into how I felt about myself in an experience. So I just wanted to remind you guys that one of the most important, if not the most important thing to do for yourself, just, with this business, but in life in general, is working on you. It is working on your personal growth, because we all start in a certain place and we all have different things to work through and overcome and learn. And it is a hard process. Personal growth is really effing hard, but it is one of the things that will impact your life to the greatest extent, and that will allow you to impact other people around you to the greatest extent. And I've always said that personal development, is not just an investment in you, but it's an investment in everybody that you influence or you serve or you coach. So don't overlook that. And the last thing is that, like Laura said, there is no difference between you or me or her or anybody else that was at an event like that. It's just that they show up consistently and they have conviction and the dedication and the vision, and that so many people were talking about how hard this year was and how many shifts were happening and how it got so uncomfortable and they felt uneasy and, different things. So don't think that people don't struggle. Everybody does. It's just the ones that show up and make the decision to fight and move forward anyways, like I was talking about last night. Do you grow through it, or do you just sit back and say, this is too hard for me, right? And just thinking about having that conviction and that mindset is literally everything. And that conviction and that mindset locked in with the linking arms and standing together, I think that there's nothing that we can't get through or overcome or accomplish. And it just gave me a whole new, sense of purpose and excitement of what's to come, because I often feel like we're just getting started. So does anybody have any questions about anything that we talked about tonight, or any takeaways that they want to share? Are you all just like, WTF? All right. Laura, do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I think watching any of those videos would be helpful, because it was just so good. And my child is like playing with a knife, so that's cool.
He's got conviction.
I need to get these guys to bed.
You are only one step away from an
Yes,
entire.
it was huge to me. Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, thanks for hopping on tonight. I will go upload the recording if you have somebody that you want to tag that missed it. And I hope that you'll take some time to go check out some of those videos to watch for yourself. So have a good night, and we will see you next week. And thank you.
You know that.
Guys.
Tucker, you know that.
Bye, guys.